Hey everybody, it's GoblinX and welcome back to another Pick 2 draft of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I am incredibly busy this week, so these Pick 2 drafts have been a godsend. They are so quick whether you win or you lose, so apologies for the shorter videos this week, but we've got a competitive Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles event coming up this weekend, so we'll have some longer, more competitive videos very soon. A Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Arena Direct is coming up, but for now, let's see if we can't speed through another Pick 2 draft. We've got Donatello Gadget Masters, my favorite of our rares. Being able to copy your artifacts on your board is great, especially with all the pizzas that have great enter the battlefield effects. I think there's a lot of excellent ways to use Donatello. I like the Westwind Avatar a lot too. It's very expensive, but it's a super, super good finisher, drawing you extra cards every turn, gaining some life when it comes in. Leonardo's Technique's a cool rare, but I think it's just narrow enough to take a really solid uncommon like Westwind Avatar over it. Because not only do you need to have a lot of cheap creatures in your deck, they need to be in your graveyard as well for that card to do anything. So there are going to be occasions where you draw it without anything in your grave, and it literally doesn't do anything. All right, pick number 2 now. We got Manhole Missile and Bot Bashing Time. We could just take double red removal spell towards like blue-red artifacts with Donatello, I suppose. There's Stomped by the Foot for a black removal spell towards green-black with Westwind Avatar. And there's not too much else. I just like the removal spells here, really. So let's grab... Could split off here, hedge our bets a little bit, grab the best red removal spell and the best black removal spell and have one in each color. Still not really tied to anything yet. I think that's fine here. Not a massively exciting pack for pick 2. This is a pretty exciting pack for pick 3. Brilliance Unleashed sticking around in here. A premium blue-red signpost uncommon that pushes you into the blue-red artifacts deck. Very happy to take that. The Mouser Foundry works really well with it, as does Buzzbots or Omni Cheese Pizza. A lot of great options here, but I'm going to go for the Mouser Foundry. This is a good cheap artifact to hit the board that's going to sit there and hang around for a long time, which means it's a good one to like duplicate with Donatello. It also can sacrifice itself to put itself in the grave for Brilliance Unleashed to reanimate it. I think Mouser Foundry is going to be the most consistently synergistic of those artifacts. Casey Jones, Vigilante. 3 mana 4/3 when it enters, draw 3 cards at the beginning of your next upkeep. Discard 3 cards at random. So this is like a really late game play, but it can be some good card draw at that point. Pretty narrow, essentially treating it like a 7 or 8 mana card. That way you can play it and instantly play whatever you draw off of it. But still seems potentially pretty good. I'll take Casey Jones and Nobody here, although I do like the Mind Transfer Protocol Combat Trick too. What I like a lot about Nobody is there's a lot of good enter the battlefield artifacts in the set, like the Mouser Foundry. But especially the pizzas have even better enter the battlefield effects. We'll take a couple solid artifacts here as we move our way towards pack number 2. Bot Bashing Time wheeling around the draft pod is a wonderful sign for red. And we're pretty confident we get to stick to the blue-red artifact deck from this point onward. Okay, pack 2, pick 1. Solid value play with Donatello, Turtle Techie, drawing a card when he enters, as long as we've got an artifact on the board, which should be pretty consistent. Then also April O'Neil drawing us a card for every card type we've cast each turn. So we'll just get some card draw spells here, see what we get past. Ooh, Slash, Reptile Rampager. I've played against Slash a lot and haven't been overly impressed because I've just always happened to have a removal spell immediately. If Slash doesn't get removed, though, 7/5, make a 2/2 every turn, shoot your opponent for 2 when you make those 2/2s. Does seem incredibly strong. I'm absolutely going to take that. I'll take the Mechanized Ninja Cavalry as well, another cheap artifact to get on the board to pick up or reanimate from grave. There's a Bot Bashing Time, but we wheeled the last one. I'm not massively concerned about removal currently with Manhole Missile and Bot Bashing Time and Mouser Foundry and Brilliance Unleashed right now. So we'll get the Ninja Cavalry. Very worth noting, Mighty Mutanimals has been incredibly impressive. Super, super strong card. Not that we're really in a pod where we would pivot towards white for it, but I just want to give that card a shout out. That card is really excellent if you're anywhere near its strategy. So Mind Transfer Protocol, maybe the pizza, just another artifact to sit around for Donatello. Maybe a Raphael here. I haven't been overly impressed by Purple Dragon Punks because it feels like most of the artifacts you end up casting are just cheap ones anyway. I'll just take a Raphael and a Mind Transfer Protocol here. I've played a lot of decks with that artifact Mana Dork, and it just never really did all that much. Yeah, because it usually feels like a lot of 2 and 3 mana artifacts like we have here. We do have the 1 Turtle Blimp, but still. Okay. Blue-red dual land and another nobody. Very simple pick there. Turtle Blimp copy number 2. Mutant Town Musicians. Which doesn't do all that much. So we'll probably cut this when we get enough playables. Bot bashing time did wheel around again, so I'm glad I didn't take it earlier. Rock Soldiers wheeled as well, which is reasonable for this deck, just being another artifact. Okay. Kind of a dud for our pack 3, sadly. We don't get much out of this pick 1. Honestly, I think we're going to end up cutting anything we take here. Crustacean Commando, Stockman, Skateboard, and Mouser Attack. Yeah, big dud of a pack to open up. That's a little disappointing. We'll just take the Skateboard since it's an artifact. Maybe the artifact trick thing. Okay, pack 3, pick 2, double neutrinos. That's very funny. Ray Fillet Man Ray. 4 mana 3/3 flyer. Get a mutagen token. You can remove a counter from creature to draw a card. So 4 mana 3/3 flyer. Can bash in as a 4/4 once you use the token. Can draw a card at some point. Seems perfectly fine, even if it's not like a synergy piece. Even if it doesn't care about artifacts or work with artifacts. Suppose I just take a retro mutation over a 3rd Turtle Blimp. Ooh, Weathermaker, beautiful stuff. An artifact rare. Could also take Old Hob here. We splash in Old Hob off of Dimension X and the Weathermaker. Didn't realize the first time I played Old Hob that it actually does work with itself. So usually these cards that make a 2/2 every turn and sacrifice them later specifically say sacrifice it at the beginning of the next end step, because Old Hob says destroy it at the beginning of the next end step. If you spend the white mana to give it indestructible, it will stick around. Which would normally not be the case, because you still have to sacrifice indestructible cards. Alright, this looks like a very average blue-red deck. I don't think we ended up really opening anything exciting for it. All it would have taken was opening, like, even just like a really solid uncommon in our pack 3, and I think this would have been a pretty good blue-red deck, but we just completely missed on pack 3 pick 1 here. So we've ended up with a very average, even probably a little below average, blue-red artifact build, sadly. Okay, so we definitely need the Manhole Missile, the Mouser Foundry to fill out our early plays, maybe even a Mouser Attack. Don't see much help coming from the Mutant Town Musicians, and we've got a ton of top end here, so that's another thing to cut down on. Like some Stockman. "14 creatures, Mouser Foundry, a couple Turtle Blimps. So we're still pretty high on creatures, because the Turtle Blimps are also just like straight up creatures. Our curve ended up being pretty high here. I feel like Casey Jones is going to be really awkward. We could very easily draw a 4 and a 5 mana card and just play 1 or no cards after drawing off of Casey Jones. Yeah, I'm going to drop the Casey Jones. I don't think it works particularly well in this deck. I might cut Retromutation for triple Bot Bashing Time, Weathermaker, and Manhole Missile as our other removal spells. Yeah, that seems fine. And one last cut, probably 1 4 mana card, 1 Rock Soldiers. Seems fine by me. Very average blue-red deck here. Does still have some potential bomb power to it. Weathermaker / Donatello, plenty of good interaction, but the mana curve is not the greatest. We would have preferred more cheap creatures, and we did miss on a few picks, like our pack 3 pick 1, to have just some average filler in here as well. So we'll see how this all plays out for us as we hop into the gameplay, see how far this one takes us. All right, here we are on the play for game number 1. We've got all of our colors. If we hit Old Hob, we can keep our tokens around. We'll lead off with our Mouser Foundry. Got a good value play and some great removal spells. It's like a great opener. It's April O'Neil from our opponent. They're on black-white, which is kind of the sneak archetype, where they're going to want to get unblocked attacks in. So this is an archetype that you want to block more often than usual. Let's pass through here. Nothing to play this turn. We just have 4 mana and 5 mana abilities, like on Mouser Foundry. Is it worth jumping to stop a sneak? I don't think so. But even if we had like a valuable 2-2, like a 2-2 with a really good ability, I think we're supposed to block there. But not with a 1-1 token. That's going to just straight die in that exchange. I am not going to attack with this 1-1. That way, if they do want to throw a removal spell at Donatello, we still have the 1-1 to block their 3-1. Very important that that does not hit us anymore, because then they just keep drawing more cards and getting farther ahead. And there's the pizza. Very glad we didn't attack with the 1-1. We would be in a tremendously bad spot if we did. Them going up an additional card. Okay, so let's go Turtle Blimp so we have plenty of blockers here. I could also just activate the Mouser Foundry now. Guarantee I have an artifact engrave if I hit Brilliance Unleashed next turn. And just deal with Oroku. I think that's pretty fine. This way, if we hit land 6 and they play something that we want to Brilliance Unleashed, we've got a viable target engrave. Alright, April O'Neil's back. An Insectoid Exterminator. Alright, sure, let's just do it. Get that thing out of here, get a flying Mouser Foundry onto the board with another token. Let's see you sneak through all this. Agent Bishop is a big problem. Luckily, we've still got plenty of bot bashing to go. If they flicker Mouser Foundry, I'm honestly not that sad. So we get a couple 1-1s. Okay, so they're just going to kill a token with Koya. Fair enough. Alright, bot bash Agent Bishop immediately. Stop them from getting more counters. Yeah, I guess it's better to stop sneak than to trade 3 damage for 3 damage. There's an Everything Pizza, which is just gonna get one of their main colors here. It's not gonna sack at any point. Leonardo, Sewer Samurai. So they can cast stuff out of their grave now, but that's why we are bashing more bots. And then could nobody back Mouser Foundry, but then I don't have the flying blocker for the Koya. Okay, they found another removal spell anyway. Just gonna hold off Koya with the Turtle Blimp. They got 1 card left in their hand. We got 4, so I'm feeling favored here. For sure. Especially now having the 4 toughness blocker for their 3 power flyer. If we hit an 8th mana, we can attack with a Turtle Blimp, pick it up, and replay it too. They just top decked removal if they're making this attack. Or the combat trick, I guess. They did top deck removal, fair enough. Just make a 4/4 Ray Fillet then. Ooh, that's really good. I feel like that race is fast enough to lead with that here and just take another hit in the sky instead of playing Ray Fillet. We found our Slash Reptile Rampager as our top deck, our big 7/5 bomb rare. They found an Omni Cheese Pizza to draw another card, slap us for 3, and we're down to 10. Okay. Let's do our thing, Slash. Big damage. Jump the Slash, take the rest. Here's Ray Fillet. Get the Slash ping. Set up the 4/4 flyer. And then the removing a +1/+1 counter ability isn't even... it's not even sorcery speed, so I could just hold it up in case they find removal for Ray Fillet so I can draw a card before Ray Fillet dies, but at this point we're in a pretty aggressive position thanks to Slash, so we'll just run all of our creatures out to the board and start slamming. There's the concession from our opponent. That is 1-0 this time, heading into game number 2. Okay, here we are for game 2. Nothing happening yet, just setting up our colors. A great opening hand, though. All 3 of our colors available, and Weathermaker means mana is going to be absolutely no issue. Let's lead with the Weathermaker here before we draw into any more lands. Could have stunned their mana if we were scared about a 4-mana play coming out this turn. But I'm not too worried about it. It is a blue-red mirror match. Technodrome. Can't attack or block, but they can sack other artifacts to draw cards off of it, so I'm just going to blow that up immediately and make sure they don't draw any cards. No land here. This destroys a non-creature artifact. This can't attack or block, but it's still technically a creature, so that's not going to work. So we have to bot bash. Really wish I hit the land there. Because if we hit the land, we could have just Mouse or Foundried it away. Which would have been really good. Deal 3 to the premium 3 toughness card. Okay. There's the second copy, and we don't hit our land. So, wow. Stun it? Stun it so if they play any artifacts, they don't draw the card next turn still? I'm tempted to try to draw a card off Mind Transfer Protocol, but if that's the play, and I hit the land, even though I'll have land 5 for Mouse or Foundry next turn, if they play any artifact to make this a 4/4, that's going to be too late regardless. I think I have to stun it and hope the top is a land, because otherwise it's going to be out of reach of the Foundry anyway. Just casually hit us with the same mythic 2 turns in a row. There's their Trump Scientists to stun ours. Thank goodness. There's the land. Clear that thing out of here. No giant card draw for you. There's nobody to pick up the Scientist. They can get another stun off of it. That's fine. They're spending a lot of tempo to do that, because now they have to spend another 3 to get that thing back out. even if it does get another stun. We're basically both getting stunned in that exchange. We're both losing some tempo, losing some speed. Drop ourselves a turtle blimp. Scientists is back. I could have crewed in response, but they don't have any creatures left anyway for the blimp to block. One land away from Weathermaker, getting us some great value here. We can go Raphael, hold up a missile. Or rock soldiers without blowing anything up. I feel like I'm supposed to hold on to rock soldiers in this matchup specifically. So let's just chill. Henchbots, sure. So if I manhull missile before that ability goes off, we get to keep our token. Pretty important little ruling thing to know, because usually if Henchbots exiles a token, that token's never going to come back. But if you kill it before that ability resolves, it doesn't even exile it in the first place. So the token gets to stay. There's Old Hob, which is actually pretty sick here. Yeah, Old Hob plus Raphael's really good. If we go full control, we could even crew the blimp with the token. I probably don't even need full control mode for this, but... honestly, I don't even know if it's better. I mean, I hit for more damage this way. But if I instead just go for the attack with the token on the ground... they don't have a good block in the first place, so we might be able to trade into scientists. Maybe we're at a high enough life total as well that I'm supposed to be crewing the blimp with Old Hob instead of holding up the big blocker. There's a lot of options here. We're in a pretty great position regardless. Mouser attack. I don't even know what this card does. This is like our last filler card. Oh, it's a +3/+0 first strike trick? Sure. Okay. Let's go to combat. Now I'm for sure crewing with this token. I mean, I guess I could... if I attack with the token, I get to keep it forever, spending the white mana, but I've got enough other cards to be spending my mana on right now. I think a 2/2 is super valuable against all these high toughness cards. Old Hob can't give himself indestructible, but I've got the first strike trick, so let's get in there. Very good turn for us. And there's the concession from our opponent. That's 2-0, halfway to the trophy run in this pick 2 draft. All right, here we are on the draw for game number 3. Perfectly reasonable opener. It's a bit slow, but our mana curve in general is a bit slow. We're starting on turn 3 with Donatello, and then hoping somehow our opponent has no blockers. And then we can like copy a Weathermaker or Rock Soldiers. Now that we drew the Weathermaker, we might start with Weathermaker turn 3. Our opponent is going to get aggressive, though. They're on the play with a 1-mana 2/1. So this is not a good hand for being on the draw against a curve out, which is what's happening here. They even got the Ninja Lord, and black and white is a very ninja-heavy color pair. So This could be a quick little death here if they have much more follow through than this. Hitting us for 4 damage now on our turn 2. Yeah, this is very aggro. Yep, there's another creature. Okay, at this rate, we have to affect the board with something this turn. As much as I hate throwing Donatello under the bus, this hand is powerful enough to win a long game if it survives. So we really just need to be blocking at all costs and trading off at all costs. I will trade Donatello down into Action News Crew at this point. We can't block Leonardo because Leonardo can give himself first strike. Okay. And then obviously we can't block Splinter because Splinter has Menace. So get a 1/5 blocker down and draw a card, then I have a 1/5 to block Leonardo. If they play just one removal spell, no matter what I play, it's going to go pretty poorly. We could play Weathermaker, Land, Ninja Cavalry. It's actually pretty reasonable, but I would be pretty much guaranteed taking 4 next turn. The 1/1s aren't blocking Leonardo without getting first striked. So go to 6 here to set up the Weathermaker. Is that reasonable? My qualm with playing a 1/5 is they didn't play anything last turn, so they could just be holding up a removal spell. Then I just tap out for 1 card that immediately dies. So I might prefer playing 2 1/1s anyway. So if I'm playing 2 1/1s, I might as well Weathermaker. Let's go Weathermaker double 1/1 here, but we're going to take a hit for doing this. That said, again, if they're holding up some instant speed removal spell, we would take a hit playing April regardless. Okay. Sure. Blow up the Weathermaker. Here's the Ninja Cavalry. I believe this is power 4 or greater only. Yeah, so that would not have been able to kill April. Really can't block. Can double block Splinter and lose a 1/1 for nothing, and I can double block Leonardo and lose both of them at the cost of 2 of their mana. Like, at least they have to spend mana if I double block Leonardo, but it's not good. Big old Foot Ninjas hits the board. We hit a tap land. That's pretty rough after the Weathermaker gets blown up. Because we have really good 5 mana blockers. Not so much at 4. Draw a card here. There's our untapped land. It's a flyer from our opponent. Go to 3. I'm not sure we can recover from here. Especially if they find the second white to sneak in Leonardo. That'll just be a lethal sneak off of anybody ever hitting us. Man, this is really awful. Go to 2. Sneak pretty much anything to kill us at this point. Okay. Not much to say there. Classic game of Magic. Just the fast hand on the play versus slow hand on the draw. You're going to lose those games in every format. It happens. 2-1, heading into game number 4. Will we learn our lesson? No. I'm going to keep another slow hand on the draw. Hopefully if they have an early creature, it's 1 toughness, and we just sneak our Mouser attack in. The first strike on Leonardo was particularly devastating for us there, because if it weren't for the first strike, we did have the blockers to theoretically kill it at some point. Playing against green-black, which is luckily a bit slower than black-white. Am I really going to make a 1-1 robot on turn 2 just so I have something to clone with Donatello? No shot, because if Donatello gets in, I can cast Rock Soldiers pre-combat and copy that instead, which is way bigger. So I think I'm just going to play a tap land here to make sure I get my tap lands out of the way so that I can play 3-drop, 4-drop, 5-drop from this point on. If I play an untapped land now to play Mouser Attack, my 4th land might be a tap land that I can't play one of these on turn 4. That feels like a much bigger hit than not getting a 1-1 out this turn. Okay, here we go. Nice, slow start for us. This will be anybody's game of Magic. They start with Michelangelo on turn 3. We start with Donatello on turn 3. Okay, if they don't have instant speed removal, we theoretically win the game here. But they probably have instant speed removal if they didn't do anything else with their mana. They could have the green pizza that untaps and gives +2/+2, which is fine. Basically a 1-for-1 trade if they have it. Yep, that's perfectly fine. Essentially the same as if they just had a removal spell here. We can't really not go for that because it's so powerful if it does resolve. And against a green deck, we are just not getting in later regardless. Because they're just going to have much bigger than 3/2s. Yeah, like here's the 5/5. So we set up Old Hob here. No removal in this hand, so... yeah, if we had removal, I'd kill Venus, but... we'll just set up Old Hob. So Venus gets bigger whenever she's taking damage. And there's the 7/7. Man, we were definitely not breaking through. Slash plus Old Hob is pretty strong. But I'm really concerned about our defenses right now against 12 power over there. So I'm tempted to hold up the Mouser Attack. Try to kill Rocksteady. It's very bad if they have a combat trick. I guess Slash can trade into Rocksteady too. Let's go Ray Fillet. Try to do a Mouser Attack thing. And if that doesn't pan out, we'll have to trade Slash off. But hopefully that pans out. Anchovy and Banana Pizza to blow up Old Hob. Means the Mouser Attack on Rocksteady's not going to happen, but we could kill Venus here. Okay. And then we have Slash to trade into Rocksteady. Theoretically winnable here. I think I have to not attack. If I attack, I'm dead to removal. That said, if they have removal, we're kind of going to lose either way. I mean, the Ninja Cavalry plus nobody is several turns of chumps for Rocksteady, so that is something. But like, if they kill Slash, they're killing Slash and Ray Fillet, which is brutal. Okay. So we're still in this game. We got a 2/4 lifelinker and a 1/1. We get to hit them for 4 a turn in the sky. I guess I don't have the greatest blocks for this lifelinker here if I'm attacking with our 4/4. But they are playing off the top. That is huge. Let's just play... I think I have good enough blocks here to just play a million blockers and start jamming for 4 a turn. Yeah, they have a heavy life total advantage, especially with 2 food on the board. But board presence-wise, we're slightly favored, which means I think it's kind of a 50-50 game right now, despite the appearance based on life totals. Nice, that's a really good draw. Actually, don't even know if I have an artifact engraved. I do. We'll get rock soldiers back. Kill the lifelinker. Eats a pizza. Their top deck's a land, so our first draw here much better than theirs. 5 to that. Get a rock soldiers. Force them to eat their anchovy and banana pizza right now. Then they just have a single 1/1 and they're playing off the top, and we are way ahead on board now. There's the concession from our opponent. That is 3-1. We have made it all the way to the finals here. See how we wrap this draft up. Can we get a full trophy run? No matter what, we're in the money at the very least. Okay, here we are for the final game of Magic. Our opponent is on the play for the 3rd game in the row, or in a row, and we have no blue mana in this opener. If we hit a blue source, this hand has huge potential, but if we don't, it just dies. We play a 1/1, and then, you know, whatever pressure they have is getting through. I think I have to mulligan this, sadly. Alright, this isn't much better, because it doesn't start till turn 4 and we're on the draw. But I'm not going to mulligan down to 5 here. And at least everything's castable. I mean, I guess if I draw literally no lands, then I guess not, but I'm not going to keep a 4-lander over a 3-lander there. Unfortunately, our opponent does have a potential curve on the play. They start with a 1-mana creature, turn 1. Okay, no 2-mana creature, that's good. And we drew a 3-mana spell. So far, so good here. Another green-black deck, which tends to be a little slower but has a really big late game, as we saw last time with those giant 5/5s and 7/7s and stuff. So this is kind of a solid matchup for our slower opening hands. This is an easy trade. Get the Death Toucher out of the way before we play something much bigger like a 7/5 or even a 4/3. Played some Paramecia Coloniax thing. So they mill a bit, and then when this dies, they put a card back on top. Interesting. I think I'm just going to play Donatello here. We could maybe bot bash the flyer. I suppose the Coloniax only gives them value when it dies instead of when it gets exiled. So bot bashing that wouldn't be bad either. But also, they don't even have anything good to put back on top anyway. And it's not even like value. It's not like they draw the card. They just set up what their next draw is going to be. Primordial Pachyderm. Pretty big. Please do not kill Slash. Please and thank you. If they have no removal for Slash, we'll probably win. If they do have removal for Slash, we don't really have any more action. So we'll have to draw into some goods. They do have removal for Slash. At least they had to 2-for-1 themselves. At least they had to lose their 2/2 and their removal spell. That's fine. And it is a 2-for-1 because that death trigger doesn't put the card back in their hand. They will be spending their next draw step picking those rhinos up. Oh, never mind. They're just going to Swamp Cycle anyway. They're not even going to draw that card they put on top. So yeah, they lost their removal spell and a creature to kill the 7/5. This is fine. We're definitely behind, though. They've only got 2 other cards in their hand, but I am pretty concerned what happens if I throw Bot Bashing at this Pachyderm and they play like anything else. Weathermaker's kind of an awkward draw because I want to play it before I play any more lands, but also it doesn't impact the board right now, so I don't really want to play it this turn. I kind of want to just play Rock Soldiers. Do I just play Rock Soldiers and pass so I still have a land for Weathermaker? Feels wrong. Think I still need to play my land for turn. That way I could play Weathermaker and Bot Bashing Time next turn, no matter what I draw. 3 mana for Weathermaker, then I have 3 untapped lands and 1 for Weathermaker to play both. Yeah, I miss on a landfall trigger to do this, but it makes sure I can double spell next turn no matter what I draw into. And we're really setting up the Donatello path to victory here, where if they have no other creatures, we can bash the Pachyderm so that Donatello hits them and makes another Rock Soldiers. Okay, that path to victory is set up here. If they don't have an instant. Make a duplicate Rock Soldiers, that way we have the 4 power creature up against their 6/4. They would need a removal spell and a combat trick to lethal us here, which is why I went for the full swing. They'd need 2 different spells to kill us. If we would be dead to removal, I probably wouldn't attack with Rock Soldiers there. This is a really good trade for us. Okay, and then unfortunately Venus is the brick wall. Venus is very good here, because Venus can block and get 3 or 4 +1/+1 counters on her. She can also attack in, and I can only kill her if I double block. Lose my good creatures. There's a Madame Null, which is a pretty strong rare, can double up the power toughness of everything they play. This is a 4/4 flyer here, which is exactly out of reach of Weathermaker, even if we hit the land. Dang. All right, we had something going for a millisecond there, but then they just followed through with some really good cards, Venus and Madame. Do I have to take this trade? I'm pretty dead no matter what I do. Like, if I take this, I go to 2, and then the Exterminator kills me if I don't immediately find a way to kill it. If I trade, I'm 100% playing off the top, but then it's like if I hit a land, I could like trade, hit a land, kill Madame, go to 3, have 1 final turn to try to kill that, but then I just have to like draw way better than our opponent for the rest of this game. But that's kind of the position we're in now. We just have to draw a lot better than them. Which is hard to do when they're scrying every turn. Okay, yeah, that was the plan. It's made our worst draw reasonable. I don't know if land is our worst draw. We probably have some spells that are less significant than pinging for 3. We draw a 1/1 that cannot do anything about the flyer, so that is it. That's going to be 3 and 2 for the record in this draft, very close to a trophy run, still in the money no matter what. Yeah, that went really solid. I'm perfectly happy with that for this deck. I think this deck was a fine blue-red artifacts deck, not incredible, not terrible, and it gets a pretty reasonable record for that. Yeah, we could have used a better mana curve, and we could have used some slightly better, more synergistic creatures throughout the curve, particularly at the low mana costs. But overall, it had everything you need. It had some bomb power, it had some removal spells, it had some really good synergistic uncommons, and so it won some games for it. 3-2 will be today's record. But that is going to end today's video. As always, I'd like to thank my patrons and YouTube members for their support, as well as you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it and you're interested in seeing some more, you could always like, comment, and subscribe to tell the YouTube algorithm to send us more in your recommended feed. If you'd like to support the channel directly, you can check out the Patreon link in the description below. And other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.